Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I was just drinking some water, which I'm going to encourage you guys to do the same. This is a K.I.S.S video. Keep it simple, Starseeds. Obviously. Welcome. If you haven't been to these videos before, welcome, and welcome back if you have. My intention with all of these videos is to assist in raising all of our frequency and vibration in our journey, in our life, in our ascension process. And so again, I always say that those of us who are really will say resonate with the term starseed. We know who we are. We feel like we might be here to raise the vibration and to help one another. And then all of us, though, are made up of the stuff of stars. It's in our body, and that's what a star seed is. So really, this can be useful for anybody. But for those of you that are really going through a lot of these symptoms, and you'll know as we go through this, what does this all mean and what energies are going on right now? So this last week was a really big shift. There was a lot of, I've talked to a lot of people who are experiencing a lot of physical symptoms right now, but I'm going to touch briefly on what these are. So let me just backtrack. I know I did another video on this, but it's important to keep covering it because I'm still getting questions about this. And ascension is essentially expansion. It's evolution, it's change. And so, as we know, everything evolves, right? Everything maybe began as something, you're not the same person you were 7 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was a week ago or yesterday, right? We're constantly changing and we're shifting our perspective. Our bodies are changing, and that's kind of what we're all going through on this evolutionary process. You guys may have heard the event is happening, the shift is happening, an awakening. We're hearing the term woke. Okay, that's all describing what's going on our planet, essentially. But as above, so below. So not only is it happening on a planetary level, it's happening on a cosmic level, right? On a galactic level. And that's another video, but let's just stick with some ascension symptoms today. So what are some other terms? So what I've been feeling in the energies, and I posted some videos about it this week, is we've got a couple perspectives going on. So I'll touch on those perspectives at the end from a 4D, 5D perspective. And then I'm also going to talk about some of the reasons that we're feeling these things. So yes, we're evolving. What does that mean? Well, some of us feel like what's happening is we're getting more information. We're getting downloaded with information. All of a sudden we're having aha moments, we're having realizations in our lives, and that's fantastic. Others uploaded, downloaded, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same idea. Activation. A lot of the light language videos that I do are primarily for activation, for assisting and opening up so that we can download information. It also is a DNA activation, cellular memory, evolution in the body, as well as all bodies. And so we have our causal body, our emotional body, our etheric body. So picture a nesting doll, right? Those nesting dolls that nest one on top of each other. And that's essentially what these layers of us, and we're embodying this light body aspect of us. And so what happens is as we shake off some of these lower dense energies, right? We have to kind of lose some of the things or integrate. We don't really lose anything. We transmute it, we integrate it, and then that helps us expand and to vibrate at a higher vibration, a higher frequency, if you will. And so I'm just going to go over some of these briefly, and then I'll come back to the end of, again, that 4D. In fact, I should write that down before I forget. So 4D, 5D. Okay, so emotional. A lot of us are going through an emotional cleanse. And so we're feeling fear, anger, distrust, despair, and depression are big right now for a lot of people. And rage is really big. I did a video on just opening up the heart, but essentially sometimes we're going through these feelings are bubbling up to the surface. So think of, when you exfoliate, right? You exfoliate and you brush off those dead skin cells. Well, you want to rinse them off. You don't want to just brush them off and let them sit there. And that's kind of what you might want to, I'm going to invite you to think of it as an exfoliation. We are receiving in a cellular, a DNA, a governmental, a social, right? Exfoliation, all that old dead energy, all those old parasites that have been feeding on that energy are being shaken up, shuffled off, if you will, and now what's happened is they're loose, right? And so this is the 4D perspective. I'm just going to go right into it. 40 perspective is they're loose, they're hanging out, and they're like, uh-oh, I've lost my ground, I've lost my footing. Now I got to attach to something else or I'm not going to be here anymore. And so we're seeing that shakeup, obviously, in a social, economic, governmental, political, religious, uh, gender, race, all of it is being kind of, all that dead energy is being shaken up. I also made reference in another video about a scuba diver. Picture yourself at the bottom of the ocean. You've got your scuba gear on and you're putting your hands around in the sand and looking for treasure, and all that silt at the bottom of the sand is floating up, and what was a big, beautiful, clear ocean is now distorted and you can't see what's right in front of us. And so what happens is all those bottom feeders that were on the ground that were kind of hidden in under the silt, they're being brought to the surface. And I'm bringing this up because it is as above, so below. So I've got two different perspectives there, right? Body, you can think of the parasites, and I'm going to come into that a little bit too. So everything is kind of being brought to the surface so that we can see it for what it really is, and we can recognize it and say, okay, I'm feeling anger, I'm feeling fear in response to possibly some of the shifts that are going on or the exfoliation that's going on outside of me, but I'm also feeling fear possibly about the exfoliation that's going on inside of me. And so I just want to share that you guys are not alone in this. There's a lot of people experiencing this. I talked to, and I'll come back to that just in a minute. So fear, anger, despair, and distrust. I put judgment up here. Judgment is more of a result of fear, right? Of anger. And anything that isn't love is fear. But essentially, this judgment, it becomes anger. And then when you pass judgment on yourself, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I shouldn't be sick. Or oh, I made some wrong choices in my life. And that gets me to the emotional aspect as well, which we're on. I'm a little all over the place. That happens sometimes. So when you're in a place of self-judgment and you're in, a lot of things are going to be coming to the surface to be shown so we can see and not ignore. Either things that we've been ignoring in our bodies physically, old injuries can be resurfacing and bothering us again. Again, I brought up bacteria, which I'm going to do a separate video on bacteria and toxins in the body, but that's really big right now. And so as these emotions come up, sometimes they can manifest in the physical, okay? But also the emotions come up and all of a sudden self-judgment comes up too, like, oh, I made these choices. A lot of people are having a blast from their past. They're reconnecting with people that they thought they had forgotten about. And all of a sudden they're being brought to the surface. Again, it's that sloughing off of that old skin, those old dead energy that's being brought to the surface. And part of that from a 4D perspective or a fear-based, kind of a lower frequency perspective or 3D is to trigger certain things. So the old energy would have triggered these emotions, triggered anger. They're bringing, us, other versions of us, are bringing things into our awareness that thought we were done with, and now it's coming back. The question is, how are you going to react to it? Are you going to redo the same act that you've been doing and feed back into that system, buy back into that system? Because we're being offered a connection to source, which is an open chain energy link, versus this closed chain, fear, anger, other network of the bottom feeders that are coming up in our bodies, etc. So I'm going to bring that up as well because that leads me into the physical and as far as alcohol and drugs. But physical, moving right on into that. I'm trying to keep this short. Electrical. You guys, a lot of electricity going through our bodies right now. Think of yourself as a conduit, and you were plugged in, possibly, maybe not, maybe you've been awake for a really long time, but you're just waking up maybe, or you've been awake and now all this other stuff is happening. You've been plugged into a closed circuit system where you did not feel necessarily the connection that you really have to source energy or to your own power. And now you're opening up. Your cells are activating, your DNA is activating, you're remembering things about who you really are. That's what ascension is. And all of a sudden that can create fear, but in addition, that the symptoms come up in the body. They can be an emotional discharge, we'll call it, thinking again of electricity, but it can also be all of the toxins that we've built up in our body that we've never really dealt with. Have we ever done a liver cleanse? Have we ever done a kidney cleanse, right? Have we been ignoring certain things that maybe we had some injuries and we stopped doing physical therapy, we stopped physical exercise altogether, and now that knee is bothering us again? Our body is communicating with us and it's sharing with us what it's going through. And it's our suit, it's our light body or our light suit, so to speak. And we have to feed it what it needs. And so this leads me into talking, well, before I go into that, we'll talk about heart palpitations, stomach pains can be coming up, headaches, cranium pain, swelling in the glands, thyroid issues, eye issues, allergies, lots and lots of allergies. I've been hearing it from family, friends, and clients. Um, and teeth and gums. Guys, I had a friend, I won't go into all of it, but get your teeth cleaned. Get your teeth cleaned. You have worms in your gums, all right? And they're feeding off the toxins that are in your mouth. You guys, when you have bacteria, again, this is another video, but when you have bacteria in your body that's really basically think of the fact that all of this is going on. So there's an electrical energy traveling through us to light up what's going on so that we can see, feel, hear, and sense what needs to be transmuted and changed in order to raise our frequency. So your teeth and gums might be bothering you. Maybe your teeth and gums are going through an activation, but it's also lighting up, I haven't flossed daily for years, or whatever it might be. Sinuses, obviously sinuses, we're relating it to our eyes and ears, ear problems. I say problem loosely, ringing in the ears, which we all know that that's a big sign. Rash, a lot of people are breaking out rashes and hives. You guys, I'm seeing this in everybody. My coworkers, my friends, my family, my clients. Every client that I work with has got something going on a physical level. And that's another video. I'm going to invite you guys to start looking up things about meridians in the body, because oftentimes I'll work with someone and the physical really ties in with what they are being shown in their life that they need to transmute. And I'm helping people with that, and they're learning how to help themselves. It's really awesome. That's what this is all about, evolution, right? And helping one another. You guys, dreams. Now, before I go back off I'm going to go back to electrical really quick. Think of yourself as a conduit. You were plugged in possibly, or we were plugged into a closed source energy, an old belief system. And we weren't really as connected as we could to source energy. We didn't recognize that we could open up this channel, right? Now we've opened up this channel up the spine, right? Spine kind of stuff can be going on too, Kundalini activation. So we've opened this up and now we're really plugged into a higher vibration. And that is coming from source, lighting up all of the inconsistencies, the toxins, the bacteria, as above, so below, in our emotional field, in our physical bodies, in our spiritual aspect, which leading into that, we might be having dreams and nightmares. They're all important for us to kind of recognize, what is my subconscious trying to tell me? What is spirit trying to tell me, my higher self? And some of the spiritual thing is, who am I? What am I doing? What's my purpose here? Many of the people I've been working with are going through job change, relationship change. We used to call it dark night of the soul, but it's not that. It's just a shift in your awareness and your perspective. It can feel painful, and that is part of our integration and getting help with this, getting body work done, exercising, eating right, which I'm going to do again in another video because my intention is to keep this short. But something is calling us to wake up. And so we're like, okay, I'm awake. What next? And so this is all happening kind of together for many of us out there. My neighbor told me the other day she felt like she was laying in bed and was plugged into an electrical socket. My client the other day was going through serious stomach issues. My family have each individual experiences that are individual to their unique expression that they are experiencing right now, and myself included. We are all we're all being made aware of what we need to balance in our lives. And so pay attention to your body. Again, I'm going to do another video on that, just body, bacteria. I'm going to do one on bacteria toxins, toxicity, heavy metals, but I'll also be doing one on foods, maybe tying that in together. And I already did one on Kundalini, which ties in with all of these ascension symptoms as well. And so I'm inviting you guys to pay attention to what your body needs. You may not want the same foods. You may not want the same drink. Drink a lot of water. And so this last 10 seconds, I'm going to refer you back to the how to raise your vibration video, because though that just kind of covers how you can kind of balance all of this out. But this is more about, we're all going through it. I'm seeing it heightened right now. It's really at a huge level. So again, as above, so below. Chaos out there, chaos in here, but it's not. It's organized, magical chaos. And through that, when we integrate those feelings, those emotions, when we support and love our body, when we recognize the changes that we are having in our life and what we're being shown through relationships, through meetings of past people in our lives, through job change, relationship change, through caring for our bodies, that is what this journey is all about. And then that helps us help others through this. So thank you so much, and love and light till the next video. Namaste.